What is going on, guys? Happy New Year. And this is my first radio review of the 2023 year. And so we're going to be checking out this General Electric 7 transistor P-955a AM radio from 1963. Now, there's really not too much to talk about other than the fact that it's just your typical standard AM radio that you would have got back in the day. And a lot of people ask, that I've heard, is why are some of these old radios only AM? Well, little fun fact about that. Back in the 60s and late 50s, anything from between like 1970 and before, FM really had not really came into popularity yet. It was starting to get it was starting to come in sometime between the 50s and the 60s, I believe, but it didn't actually get popular until the 1970s, as far as I've heard. So that's why you will see some of these radios are only AM, which there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem that makes AM different than FM is that AM is more susceptible to interference, but AM can sound almost just as good as FM, at least to my standards on these older radios because they were built around AM. So with that said out of the way, let's take a look at this radio here. Now this here is a P955A General Electric 7 transistor. Here's our dial. It goes from 55 all the way to 160. And another little fun fact is you notice that, put my pointer on it, these little triangles here between the 60 and the 70 and the 115 and the 140, that is the Conrad radio marks. Now what that means is that back in the day, if you get like some type of alert or something like that, civil defense, and you had a station that was on, let's say I'm tuned to about 800 here, I would either turn my radio to 640 or I would turn it to 1240, which is up over here. Basically, that's what that is. So, I had to get that out of the way as well. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this radio. So, you notice right here, this here's what the speaker is. The speaker is actually this big. It's almost, I guess, like 3 inches across, 3 or 4 inches across in diameter. So, it's got really good sound, believe it or not, for AM. And here's your tone switch for your high and your low. Now, I keep mine up on low just because the high setting gets a little bit too sharp, and so the low is just right. This is your volume on off. This is your tuning knob. There's a pointer in there. See, General Electric. This is actually raised letter. It's actually raised letter. Same with the transistor. This metal bezel here. Here's our carrying deal, which we want to carry the radio. And some of these would actually have an earphone jack on this side, but this one does not. Here's the back of the radio. It takes 4 C cell batteries. So that's pretty much about it. This is the vented case. But yeah, and I would take this apart just to show you the internals, but really I kind of don't want to, just because I don't really want to take it apart unless it's absolutely necessary, because there is a bunch of wires in there. And one of the wires is connected up to the batteries, and it got to be kind of careful with it that I don't tear it out, because then I have to go in there and resolder it, which I actually had to do when I had to realign this thing. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and listen to this radio. We're going to start at the bottom of the AM band here. We're going to go all the way up over here. I'll turn it on. It's a really faint music station.
Of the Entree Leadership Podcast, which I host, and Dave Ramsey and
I just woke up one morning, stood up, and was in excruciating pain.
Buddy, I would consider him to be a friend.
She's got really good bass.
Kevin McCarthy.
Now, if I turn it on to the high setting, you'll hear.
Republicans are supporting Jim Jordan. Where does this all go? What is the end game? That's the question to go with, and we really don't have a good answer.
100 years since this has happened.
See, the low setting sounds a bit better.
For the speaker.
Rabbi, Cynthia, and Dustin. Thank you, Rabbi, for the... They can't take that away.
Just so you can know, I consider that mercy on your part. Are you receiving mercy?
Great healthcare. Find out more. Call now. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855.
It's actually got really good fringe reception. Pretty decent, I mean. It's 860 coming out of San Antonio. This is a fringe station. It's a KONO 860 AM.
We hope that you'll join us at the Cove. We're also going to have a memorial service.
To sustain and to
Here's
complete.
KBBW 1010 AM.
I don't think anybody knows exactly.
Here's
right now.
WOAI
We'll
1200.
shake out.
External candidate that could get to 218.
1230.
Here's another question.
5.
What do you do, although it's obviously...
And we're on call 24/7, 365 days a year.
$1,000 enlistment bonus.
There it is, 1550.
Greatest country stars all time. Kicker Country, 1590 AM, 99.3 FM.
KAKR.
Jeffrey. But this is.
So anyway, so that is the P-955a. I do believe it's a P-955a, because that's what I did see. It does not have anything on the back battery cover, but you can see this radio does sound really nice. So anyway, that's my first radio in-depth kind of look at, or I wouldn't say review, because I did, well, I'm not just going to say it is, because this radio is actually a really good, pretty decent radio. It does sound really well. And GE is known for making pretty good transistor radios. As far as I've known, GE's had some pretty good ones, like this lunchbox radio here. Now, why I call it a lunchbox radio is, well, it kind of looks like a lunchbox. So, well, that's pretty much about it with this review of this radio here. So, hope you like this video and subscribe, and you'll see some more content. I'm planning on posting a little bit more, but see, I haven't been able to posting stuff because I got my job and stuff and all that. But yeah, I just want to let you know that I'm still active, and expect videos from me still. So thank you for hanging in there. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and please subscribe.